Hello, Comrade Snake here. So this is filming this about 30 seconds after I did the Salerno 43 unboxing. This is the next one, which I'm sure, as you can tell from the title, is Vietnam, 1965-1975, published by GMT and game design Nick Karp. So this is a kind of redone version. Like I don't want to say remake. It's not. It's like a touched up version of the 1984 game with the same title. So as it says everything on the back of the box, you know, it's fixes things about rules that were unclear, slaps on some fresh graphics to help streamline things. You know, complexity 7, solitaire 2. Give me 1 second to take a sip of cocoa. Fresh hot cocoa. All right. Let me put that to the side. Anyway, so now you've had a look at the back of the box. Let's open her up because I am very excited to see what's in here. I mean, I read the contents list, but actually seeing it is going to be a whole other thing. Okay, come on. Here we go. All right. Let me get that smell. Oh yeah, that's a nice fresh printing smell. Okay. So rules of play on top. Not as bad as I was expecting given the size of the game. 33. And then there's the playbook. Okay. So 33 pages. Plus an index. I see here, what's this? These optional rules? No, these seem like they're more rules. Is this maybe is that basic rules? Let's see. Let's go to page 33 and see what happens. Okay, morale and commitment. 33, okay, reinforcements. U.S. reinforcements, Korea, Thailand withdrawals, Arvin recruiting, lots of nice examples listed. ENV. Okay, no, it's just it's just the rules for reinforcements and withdrawal are just really extensive, and that goes into for each kind of, each army has a very distinct way of doing it. So Arvin, U.S. Army / Marines, and the Viet Cong, looks like the Viet Cong and the NVA had their own separate rules as well. So, all right, that's why it just goes on for a long time because it's very in depth. That's good. All right, so anyway, full color rule book, not glossy, which is what I prefer. I don't particularly like the glossy look on rules. But got movement, zones of control, I mean, you know, lots of things you'd expect, immobilization. So this is going to be a pretty alert movement. Okay, yeah, so this is going to be a pretty in-depth game. There's a lot of moving parts. The rulebook is, like I said, so even with all that extra stuff there, it's only clocks in about 41 pages. That's not too bad, honestly, for a game that's simulating Vietnam, the Vietnam conflict. That's pretty intense. Now we got the playbook. Let's check that out. So it starts with an example of play, very nice, and then goes into scenarios, operational scenarios. And then it looks like we have campaign scenarios. So yeah, operation, so Starlight, Silver Bayonet, First Volley, National Ring White Rose of the Sea, Battle for First Corps, Keachin, Tet, Easter Offensive, Fall of South Vietnam. Okay, and then campaign scenarios. So the big shebang, then you have an after Tet, and then record sheets, design notes. All right, that's pretty cool. All right. Yes, here we go. I see. So they'll list the starting kind of factions. Okay, yeah, so you got a lot going on here. VA for this, US Army. Okay, yeah, U.S. Army and USMC are kind of considered two separate things. Yeah, Silver Bayonet, which is a game that I actually do want to get. I want to get Silver Bayonet by itself at some point in the near future. But we'll take it, yeah, so you get all that layout. All right, and I'm sure a lot of this will make more sense when I kind of read the rules and see it, but I mean, you know, with plenty of this, you know, Da Nang has these counters on it, etc., or something like that. So I'm assuming most or all of these are just counters. And then it has whatever else going on it, and then the campaign scenarios, which are going to include all of that, you know, campaign stuff you'd expect. Okay, now looks like we got maps up. Now these maps are going to be, let's see how many we got. 3. Okay. So let's see. These are going to be pretty big, each one. Let's open up this first one. Okay, so this looks like it's covering all of First Corps. So for those who don't know, South Vietnam was divided into 4 core zones that the U.S. Army used for operations. So First Corps was the northernmost section. So we have the Laotian border here, the North Vietnam border. Looks like a little bit of Cambodia down here. So Da Nang, Hue, which is, so Hue, then the word is a like derivative, like a vulgarized Chinese word that, like shortening of a Chinese word that basically means city at the center of Vietnam. And then over here we got, you know, Port at Chu Lai, Quang Nang. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of these, I'm sure. Dirk Pho, or Pha, Dirk Pho. Yeah, so, okay, so here's and there's also a U.S. Navy holding box, naval points, eliminated box. Ho Chi Minh Trail Track, which I don't quite know how it works. It has a little bit of an explanation box here, but I don't know what the full context means in regard to the game. I'm assuming this is going to be, yeah, so it looks like personnel NV per commitment. So I guess, so this is, I'm going to guess, reinforcements / supplies that can move down the trail to support the VC. General information, turn track, season track. So each year on the turn track has for the 4 seasons, and they all have 2 like phases for each one, and that's what makes up the whole thing. Okay, so that's the top one. Let's see. I'm doing this on my small table, which doesn't have enough room for all 3. In fact, I probably have to put my large table and my small table together to get all 3 maps to work, but I think I could do it. Let's see, which one's this? Okay, here we go. This looks like it's, yeah, so this is the middle section. There is no good way for me to get all these, but you know, you can get the general gist of it. They're not quite lined up properly here, but got this whole other thing. So, oh yeah, here's the division lines: First Corps, Second Corps, Third Corps, Fourth Corps. Fourth Corps pretty much deals with the Mekong Delta. Third Corps, Saigon and its surrounding area, and Second Corps, and the whole middle section between them in there. And then I'm just gonna lay the final map on top, just to, whoops. Yep, there we go. So we got Saigon right here. There you go, Saigon. It's kind of surrounding area. We got the Mekong Delta. It's many rivers and the big Mekong delta outflow here into the South China Sea. Got a lot here. Yep. So I know these. I believe it's these 3 here: Sakdek, Con Thao, and Vin Long. Were called the Triangle, and each of them had a pretty significant amount of VC and some NVA infiltration forces dedicated to them on the Tet Offensive, and they all failed. For the Tet Offensive, especially in 4th Fourth Corps here did not go well at all, militarily speaking. Didn't really go militarily speaking well anywhere, but this was particularly bad, especially for an area which is kind of famous, at least in the popular consciousness, as a major VC area, and like, I'm not getting too much in history here, but the Viet Cong like apparatus structures were pretty much undamaged, by the counteroffensives after Tet. They lost a lot of personnel, but the infrastructure to rebuild was all still there. So, operationally, they were definitely out of commission for quite a while, but they weren't completely powerless, and they still had a large amount of, reservists, I guess, if you want to call them that. I don't have a particularly good word, but it was around 80,000 still in the area to rebuild their cadres, so they were still okay. All right, we've seen those gorgeous looking maps. Let's get to the counters. My favorite part, just to be honest, in most situations, my favorite part is the counters. So the top sheet here, it looks like we have we got NVA units plus just VC. Oh, I see. Aha. So there's hidden info there, plus some other more specific ones. So we got I see political sections, supply conduits. We have combat units, more things. Okay, so those are going to be face down, and this is where like a hidden information thing kind of comes in. And it'll kind of work for me, even though I'm playing it single player predominantly, just because I'm going to forget what things are when I put them down in between turns. And there could be a large amount of time in between turns, so I'll forget. I need some more cocoa. So then number 2 here, we got... Okay, so replacement chip, more NVA, captured capital. I'm assuming that means like maybe section capital or province capital. Not necessarily. I don't think you would need that many markers for capturing Saigon. And then here it looks like we got ARVN units in the yellow, really traditional. You have artillery. So I noticed they use this now, this kind of square line border here on units that I believe are basically support units that you stack with others. That's something that at least I remember first seeing in the 4X games by Mark Simonovich. So I'm glad to see these things kind of, those little touches going in. Makes it easy to understand what I'm looking at, immediately, and to have some kind of cross-play between games. Not that you're combining games, but I just mean understanding what you're seeing in all these contexts. That's a nice signal. ARVN invades Cambodia, ARVN invades Laos. Okay, that's a thing that can happen, I guess. Next up here, these are U.S. Army in the kind of light green, almost a puke green. So we got all these different units here. These are, of course, also all organized by their units. So there's specific HQs and all the corresponding men and material that goes with them. Support units, support artillery, various other support things. Yeah, they got lots of air mobile points. There's lots of McNamara line, complete barrier. Yeah, and U.S. replacements. So lots of stuff there. Over here, next sheet. Oh, we got the U.S. Marine Corps. So there's less, but still a pretty significant amount. U.S. Marine Corps, more captured capital, free fire, scenario ends. So you got other. It looks like. Oh, yeah. Are these South Vietnamese leaders? Or are they just generals? Might just be generals. Not. I don't see. Yeah, I don't think that's not all of their political leadership of that time period. I think that's just their, possibly their general staff or something of that nature. I'm not positive on that. I'm not familiar with the names and personalities of the ARVN High Command, so that's probably them. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar. We got some naval stuff as well. Very nice. And we have, oh, ops complete. Okay, so this is for marking patrol, for marking units on the map. Very nice. Many kinds of markers here, as well as target markers, which I'm assuming that's for like maybe bombing runs. Ineffective, hold, patrol. Yeah, so lots of markers for marking units. And it looks like that's the end of the counter sheets, it looks like. Okay. Player's aid sheets. Combat results table. So something here. Your mobile point lost. Okay. I'll have to kind of parse that out. Not quite sure how that works, so I'll parse that out. Allocating losses. Terrain effects. Yeah, okay. Your mobile units with all that jazz. All right, so we got one of those. A second one. I imagine there'll be two of all the player aid sheets. Oh, this is like a pamphlet. So we have morale chart applied during political phase. Okay, yeah, lots of stuff here on how to do all that, as well as unit cost, so that each unit raises commitment. Viet Cong take personnel and supplies, so that's a thing I'll have to keep track of. South Vietnam is the same, but North Vietnam and US both use commitment levels to kind of ship forces down. It looks like interesting, or into South Vietnam. Interesting. Blockade, oh yeah, here we go. Strategic bombing the trail, the north, all that, awesome. Population control, okay, so that's gonna have its own ratings. That also might be what those, maybe what these numbers are for. Very cool. Second one of those. Then we have operations flow chart. Someone in the hallway running, making a bunch of noise. Search and destroy, clear, okay. Wow, yep. So this is a whole diagram B security. So this is a whole thing on how to do all that. Okay, yeah, this is gonna take a while to understand everything that's happening. Very complicated, or at the very least, maybe it's not necessarily complicated once you know what you're doing or you get it, but this is to help with everything. But it's just a lot of info to go for. Okay, sequence of play help, very nice. Seasonal interplay, record keeping, okay, see all the stuff that happens in between the actual moves. Here we go, record sheets. Oh, alternate population, okay, so you have another, you can use this if you want to keep track of population control. Holding boxes, oh yeah, for each of the divisions. Okay. Also a general record track on here if you're not using a big map, I guess. US record sheet, nothing on the back. NLF, excuse me, NLF holding boxes, nothing on the back. Get all your VC and VA. 2 6-sided dice, 1 green, 1 red, also with the smooth corners, which I appreciate. And then we just have the box insert. All right, well that is our look at Vietnam 1965 to 1975. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I certainly liked and enjoyed looking at all those different pieces and components. They all look very nice, and I will definitely get to this at some point. Probably not soon. Gonna do some more Into the Woods and probably some Salerno 43 before I try to mess with this. But very nice, and catch you all next time.